So, Atomic Heart is out. I played it for $1 on Game Pass, and so now I know what it is. And what it isn't is a very good game. Additionally, it is also not a propaganda piece glorifying the USSR. In fact, in the ending I got, a giant hammer and sickle is literally destroyed as you sit and watch as this symbol of the Soviet Union collapses from above and shatters into pieces. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is not pro-USSR and pro-communist imagery. You want to know what I think the primary message is in Atomic Heart? I think it's a warning about China. I think the whole game is a gigantic attack on China, not even pulling your leg. I say that because what's happening in Atomic Heart? It's showing us the USSR if it came out of World War II with hyper-advanced technology. And it suggests to us, hey, this is what we think would happen if a communist country ended up being super technologically advanced. What does the USSR of Atomic Heart do? It exports consumer electronics to the US, and the rest of the world, though primarily concerned with the US, which are designed to be able to undermine the entire country, if enough are adopted. The game may as well have had a cutscene that just says, "Watch out, Huawei's gonna mess your shit up." It's unfortunate that people who are either totally ignorant and making stuff up or who are deliberate liars have decided to ring the alarm bell that Atomic Heart glorifies communism. And I'm not just referring to our friend here on YouTube whose video I responded to, Horenko. Apparently a Ukrainian politician has decided to echo that man's claims. Because like with Hogwarts Legacy, it boosts a game that's not that good and is just a massive deception. Ladies and gentlemen, when I first started playing Atomic Heart, I was left fucking stunned upon learning that the main character's name was Sergei Nechayev, and that no one who claimed to have, I guess inner knowledge or a deep understanding of the game, fucking mentioned that. The main character is named after one of the most famous communist revolutionaries, the man who wrote the Revolutionary Catechism. And the main character also turns out to be an ideologically possessed, mindless attack dog, not in control of his own actions. A murderer blinded to the wrongness of his deeds by his USSR masters. There is no other game in existence more anti-communist than this game.
Why the hell should I believe any of this? The boss would never do this to me.
Yeah, right.
The boss.
Just like he'd never wipe your wife's existence from your memory. Just like he'd never design Collective to be a mind control system.
And not only that, but like I said, the game's only real message is look out for technological exports from states that claim to be communist but aren't really. And that's pretty much all there is to it. There isn't really a story that develops, they just repeat the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. Things being revealed to your character that were already obvious to you earlier. As far as the game itself goes, shooting doesn't feel good. I didn't like any of the weapons or the way they felt or the way it felt to hit enemies. The open world aspect massively degraded the game experience by also introducing this element of needing to farm resources. Just incredibly dull. The bosses and mini-boss or extra tough enemies, so boring to fight. Slowly walk back away from them, press dodge when they swing at you, pump an insane amount of ammo into them. You win. For the last 4 hours, I turned difficulty down to easy in the hopes that things would go a lot faster. Nope, it just took a little bit less time to whittle down the bullet sponges. Thankfully, in a sense, I'd say most of the game is platforming, but it's first-person platforming, which to me is almost never a good time unless you really nail it. They did not really nail it. You'll face a ton of puzzles which are either totally trivial or will give you pause because what seems to be the solution also seems like you shouldn't be able to do it in terms of jumping and dashing, and in other parts of the games would be impossible if presented with a similar layout. Some claim that this game is a Eurojank game. I disagree. I think Eurojank implies soul, something a lot of soul has been put into that is a bit rough around the edges. This is not Eurojank. This is a failed imitation of USA AAA. For God's sake, the ending I went for had me go to a lighthouse, then dive underwater, and then end up in the sky. That's a bit more than a fucking reference when it's during the climax of your game. Oh yeah, and then after the penultimate boss fight, I broke through reality, fell through the floor, and got to explore the underneath of the open world map. Would have been a huge mood killer if the game had built any mood. In conclusion, really subpar imitation BioShock. Now, some people are saying you cannot compare this to Harry Potter. This game funds the Russian war machine. To which I say, nah, yes you can. Maybe you can't compare J.K. Rowling to the Russian state, but that doesn't mean that the situation surrounding both games isn't very similar. The hysteria over the impact of people purchasing the game, in particular, is almost identical. Apparently buying Hogwarts Legacy was going to lead to mass trans death, and my spending $1 to get a month of Game Pass to play Atomic Heart, I suppose, funds 100 Russian tanks. I don't know. Never mind that sanctions from Europe are estimated to be hitting the Kremlin for about 140 million a day compared to what they would be getting from us. And it would take, what? I don't know, 1,500,000 and some thousand copies of Atomic Heart sold, with all of the income, with the gross income all going to the Russian government and having all those copies sold at full price. Ultimate Edition to match 1 day of the impact of sanctions. Illness. Mental illness. The thought that restriction of sale of this game is important for the fight against the rise of communism in the 21st century, and is therefore the right-wing thing to do, and the right thing to do. Beyond mental illness. Pure weapons grade Reddit. The only political impact this game will have is making people pissed at Russia that they spent money on such a mediocre game. Please, I'm begging you, whoever you are, a YouTuber, a politician, someone who posts on Reddit, stop attacking bad games in insane ways that result in me having to insult you and attack you for being dumb, thus defending the game. I don't want to defend bad games. I don't want to defend games I haven't played yet, so have no idea if they're good or bad. Stop being histrionic shut-ins. It's easy if you try. But, as usual, that's just another one of my harmful opinions.